Marta.
We want to get rolling. I'm Nick Colosi. I have nothing to do with anything, but thank you all for coming in the rain. If you didn't sign up, please do so as you leave. We're going to use your emails to organize a block captain, potential block captain meeting. If you show up at the meeting, you don't have to be the block captain, but just so that everybody knows what we're doing at the same time. Other than that, Marta, yours.
Thank you for coming on out. In case you don't know me, I don't see too many faces that don't, but my name is Marta Sprout. I'm here in this shirt for a reason. I am the president of the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association, and the purpose of our group is to act as liaisons between the police department and the community. And it's a thing I love doing because, honest to goodness, this police department is extraordinary. I've never worked with such a fine group of men and women. Just to let you know, I was talking to a police officer who was patrolling the island, and he routinely reads the moon, so he knows what's going on out here. He cares. And I thought that was a wonderful thing. We've had some crime on the island, and it's time to address it in a systematic way. And the program we're suggesting is neighborhood watch and then some. What we want to do is to hear from you and talk to people in the community to find out what you want, okay? Some of the things that have been suggested that will be coming up is a self-defense course for women only that includes situational awareness. I cannot begin to tell you how far that goes into helping keep you safe. We would like to do one focused on keeping children safe. The police department called the other day, someone from there, and graciously offered to come out and have an event where they will etch the VIN numbers in your windshields for you for free. That's a huge benefit, and it cuts down on auto theft because they now can't take that windshield and use it and sell it. You see what I mean? So, anyway, there are a lot of things we can do to make a difference, and we've all experienced these thefts in different ways, or heard about our neighbors that are dealing with problematic houses. And we need a strategy, we need information so that we can organize and send them back over the bridge. So, I would like to introduce, we have a whole lot of wonderful people here from the Crime Prevention Unit. We have Captain Weber, who is the captain for our district. And I am going to turn everything over to them. They are very capable at this. We will stay around afterwards, and so you can talk to people one-on-one and answer questions, your ideas. I'll be around. Please, if you haven't signed in, please sign in, and we'll get this rolling. Captain, we're going to turn it over to you. Do you want to walk up there?
Good evening. My name is Weldon Weber. I'm your Bravo District Captain. So this is the area that you live in. I'm one of the patrol captains, and then each section or a district that we have gets assigned a captain. So that would be me for you ladies and gentlemen. And I'll let everybody else kind of introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about their supervisor here.
Hello, my name is Arlene Cordell, and I'm a crime prevention advisor for the Corpus Christi Police Department. I've been on for almost 3 years, and this is what I do, Neighbors on Watch, National Night Out. I do safety presentations on personal safety and everything having to do with crime prevention in the city. I love it.
My name is Melissa Castro, and I am the project manager for the Auto Theft Task Force. I run a lot with Arlene, and we do the crime prevention. I specialize, though, in the auto crimes. Set up the public awareness, the VIN etchings she had mentioned, any kind of presentation that you would like to have. And I've been with the police department for 11 years, and with auto theft, probably, I think maybe probably half of that.
I'm Aaron Stewart. I'm a directed patrol officer. I share the Bravo district, which is the island and the downtown district. I work a lot with code enforcement, crime prevention, narcotics, vice, a little bit of everything. She also used to work at code enforcement, so I know you noticed junk vehicles. You said something about that. She used to specialize in those as well, so kind of help us out if we have some issues, questions about it as well.
Lastly, I'm Paul Janko. I am your graveyard officer from Wednesday through Saturday, and I work from 9 till 6:30 in the morning.
Wow.
You're my hero. Not to my wife. She wants to be with me.
Captain,
Yes, ma'am.
one of the things that I would like to point out here is we have our new director here, Becky Perrin, from the POA. And I want to thank her for caring about this community and taking the time to be here and recognizing this is an important issue. These people need you, and we all thank you for being here.
Certainly. Well, we're probably gonna all throw a bunch of stuff at you, so don't get overwhelmed. If you are, you can raise your hand and slow us down. I may start talking too fast, or I may not talk loud enough. Just point it out. Hey, whatever, tell me whatever, and I'll listen to you and try to adjust. But to give you a rundown, really kind of fast about your police department, start off with, the area you live in is the Bravo district. It starts at Staples, all the way out to the city limits that way, and all the way to the water. You have to cut through, of course, to get to the bay. But if it went straight instead of curving down to go downtown, it would be that area, all the way out to the city limits on the island. That's the Bravo district, and it's quite large, quite populated, and we get a lot of calls for service. It's not the busiest district. It's probably like the third most busiest out of the 4, but it has a lot of geographics to it because of the spread out geographics that we have to deal with. With that being said, you have 48 officers and 5 lieutenants and 1 captain assigned out here all the time, and that's for your patrol 365, 24/7, going on every day and every hour. Now, in conjunction with that, we get extra resources, which are some here, whether it be a direct patrol officer, or a bike officer, or enduros, or traffic units. So they come out here also. And then in conjunction with that, the island itself has an officer assigned to it that's supplemented in patrol for just the island. And then also on holidays and spring break would be one of the biggest ones, but Memorial, Labor Day, we hire additional officers and on overtime and for being out here. Yes, sir.
Captain, you said the island is supplemented with additional officers. Is that just on weekends and holidays, or is it all the time?
No, it's on a shift, busy hours, and it's usually like what we call a mid shift, or not necessarily 11, but like from 1 to 9. It's like an 8-hour tour duty during the busiest time of the day. Not at graveyards and not early in the morning, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But we also have officers on each shift. Some have 8, 9, and 10. So you take that and you have 8 beats within the district, and we try to achieve 1 officer per beat. So we have other constraints and demands upon us, whether it be training, whether it be vacation days, sick days, whatever. So we end up with less officers in that patrolling area. Our minimum standard for the whole patrol division usually to have 6 officers, 6 for all that area, and that's for every other district too. Now, of course, if we get down there or it gets busy, we try to draw from other areas, or they may draw from us. Or we supplement with overtime and or hold other shifts over to stay over later into the next shift to help supplement until it dies down. So there's all a bunch of different constraints and variables, but that's kind of like in a nutshell how we operate specifically for out here. Now, with that being said, the calls for service out here, like I said, we're like 3rd for the city. And a lot of that is driven, by the demands as far as where the crime spikes, where the crime's happening, and what's going on, okay? So that's why part of this meeting is so important, and the message that we're gonna stress to you, we have to have your support, and we have to, lean on you just like you demand and lean on us. I'll tell you one thing, to be perfectly honest with you, I love doing it, I love bragging on the police department. You have a very good police department, okay? Of course, that's my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own, but I can back it up Okay, I can back it up with facts, I can back it up with other people's referrals, I can back it up, hopefully with some of y'all's support. But with that being said, you have that great of a police department just because people like you, okay? We know that. We're very blessed. We think every day that we work here, we work for our community, because we have a very good community. There's places in this nation I wouldn't work for. They couldn't pay me enough to be a police officer. I wouldn't go there. But here, we're very blessed, and we're very effective because of that. Without you being our eyes and ears, without you cooperating with us, without you serving on the jury, without you being involved in your police department, being an activist, we wouldn't be as effective, okay? So that part of this message on this meeting is letting you know that. A thank you, and also a prod and encouragement trying to get more out of you, okay, if that makes sense. What we're going to throw at you here tonight is a lot of information, and specifically geared towards crime prevention, which is what Arlene will take up, but it includes you as part of that. And you have to kind of prevent crime on your own level and protect yourself, okay? Kind of be self-reliant. We're just another tool in the toolbox, and the things we do and use are other tools in the toolbox. Crime prevention has a lot of different various tools, and one of those would be Neighbors on Watch. Some places it's more effective, some places maybe it's not. It also depends on, you know, that old adage, what you put in is what you get out. So it may be for you, and it may be that you really get active and really, you know, get involved and get a lot of support, and it may be even more effective for you, okay? So with that all being said, just kind of keep it in mind as we go along. Not necessarily that you, like Marta said, you don't have to be the one that comes up and be the one that takes charge or be the block captain or organizes it, but help promote it and help be a supporting factor of it is important, okay? Going back on the crime about our resources being demands, one message I wanted to get out to you was about reporting crime. And one thing that we hear a lot of times is, oh, I've had this many burglaries in our neighborhood, or this many break-ins, or this many assaults and all. And then we'll try to do some, you know, intelligent-led policing and try to verify it and find out the common denominator or facts that are involved. And we find out that they really weren't reported. Well, that's kind of why we didn't react to it or didn't know about it. We can't do something about something we don't know about. So even if it's a petty crime or if it's a minor crime, we really need you to report it, okay? Sometimes it has results. I'm not gonna say all the time. You know, there are crimes that get reported all the time, and they're not gonna do anything about it, nothing happens, and I know that. Wheels of justice turn slowly sometimes, I know that. But if you don't report it at a minimum, then nothing's gonna happen. I guarantee you that, okay? On the flip side of that, we recover a lot of times stolen property. We get offenders to admit to crimes, and none of it's been reported, and there's no one to take that property. It goes to auction. So that could be your property that could have been returned to you if you had reported it. Does that kind of make sense? Kind of keeping it simple. It's also important that you report it just so that we know where, like when Captain Weber goes to the meeting and says, hey, I need more officers, they're gonna ask me to back it up. If I don't have calls for service to prove it or demands to back it up, they're gonna say, everybody needs more officers, you're not getting them. You know, and they're gonna go to another district or another area. Because sometimes those captains get in a heated up meeting and we're, you know, getting ready to duke it out because we want more on our side of our town or under us for it to help address our problems and our issues. But part of that would be the calls that are generated by you and the reports about the crimes that occurred. Yes, ma'am.
Captain, I think you saw some situation like this where a crime over, say, stolen pots is reported, and then you find the perpetrator or the suspect, and then you discover a pattern of this behavior, and because everybody reported it, now it's a bigger issue than just one person's pots.
Sure. They, in fact, that you're kind of referring to, I believe, the old pot plant burglar or pot plant thief that we had going around. It was actually active out here on the island, but I wasn't just out here, it was actually across town, south side too. But this gentleman was, or gentleman, should I say, this crook was basically going around, you know, driving by. He's an opportunist. And he would look for your front yard where you had, you know, some nice plant, pot plant, or something out on the front porch that he could just grab real fast and take with him. And then he had some kind of setup where he sold it at a flea market. And that was basically his daily operations. And it went on and on. And of course, if you're that one person and it's one pot plant, even though if it's your favorite one, you may not report it. And a lot of them didn't get reported. So we ended up catching him, and we ultimately did. They found out there were lots of crimes, even some out here, that hadn't been reported. and we kind of had to do backtracking, trying to get it reported and generated, and a lot of times you're not successful doing it that way. So it's almost better to have it reported and then connect the dots, and that's how you make your case. And then kind of what she was referring to, especially with that category of theft, you can add it all together, even though it happened on different days or different locations. They can add it together, and the courts allow you to make it a larger amount stolen, which qualifies it for a bigger crime or bigger punishment. Does that make sense? So basically, we were able to throw a lot of them together, and instead of being just a misdemeanor, simple theft, or that we'd write a citation for, he had 50 or 100, we put it all together and we're able to make it into a felony. And then, he has a more chance of doing time, and also, stiffer penalties, whether it's probation or not. So that's what kind of what she was referring to. And that's definitely specific to your location out here in your area. But other than that, I'll go on and on. I will also stay towards the end and meander around, obviously, for your questions. If you want to come talk to me and ask me, I have business cards in the back that have my cell phone number and my email. So you can also reach out to me that way, or go through Marta. She knows how to get hold of me also. So I'll be accessible to you as much as possible. But I don't want to take up too much time here. We always want to try to keep these under 30 minutes to an hour, and definitely don't want to go over too much. So we're going to really, keep going and going down the trail. So Arlene, I'll let her go ahead and talk a little bit about the crime prevention specifically to you.
Hi everyone. Before I even started doing crime prevention for a living, my dad was the Mr. Crime. I think he invented crime prevention. It was lock your doors, lock the cars, don't leave anything in the vehicles. Before I heard any of these billboards that say hide, lock, tape, all this and that. So I was meant to be here. I hope that Captain Weber put it into a better perspective, why it is we need you to be our eyes and ears. I know that some of you look shocked whenever he said sometimes 6 people in the streets from the island to Staples, and that's true. So as much as the officers would love to be driving in and out of the neighborhoods, it's not possible. So that's where you come in hand. That's where we're asking you to help us with block meetings, safety meetings, where we teach you what to look for suspicious activity. What is suspicious activity? Well, I think it seems obvious, but sometimes we go, oh, well, I guess that does kind of look normal when I'm seeing a man wearing a hoodie and it's 100 degrees outside, walking in the middle of the road on a hot sunny day in Corpus Christi with a TV in his hand. No, that's not normal. That's why you call, and that's what this is about. So I guess I'm kind of here to recruit block captains, but I need participation. And what we're looking for is at least 30% participation, but this is from each and every one of your neighborhoods. So for it to be effective, we need at least that much. The island, what's population on the island? Do you have? 12,000. Okay. So as you can see, this is definitely not 30%. So this is where we want to go into our neighborhoods. We want to meet our neighborhoods. We started our Neighbors on Watch in the mid-80s in Corpus Christi. And back, I say back then, but back then, technology wasn't, so far advanced. We actually talked to our neighbors. We knew who lived down the street. People lived there for years. You knew the Johnsons, you knew the Garcias, you knew all the different family members, but it's not like that anymore. We go into our garages, if we park our cars in the garages, we close the garage, and we go inside. I can't meet anybody, so we need to go back, and I say old school, meet our neighbors, know who they are, know the vehicles they're driving, and that's what we're doing here today. So, do any of y'all know each other within the neighborhoods, or do any of y'all live close together?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all are a little community and a big community. I consider Flower Bluff like that too, because that's where I live in Flower Bluff. So we like to go out and we like to get block captains, and we educate you, like I said. We ask the block captains to attend quarterly meetings that we have at the mall. And what we do is we offer education to the block captains so that they can send out to the neighborhoods. And at these neighborhood meetings, we'll take animal care out there. We can take code enforcement. If you're wanting to put the bumps or speed humps on, we can bring somebody from the city, and we'll help coordinate all that information and take it to you. And so that's what you're thinking, is this going to be me, or are you going to recruit me? That's what it's about. So Aaron Stewart and I are going to talk to you about crime prevention tips here in a little bit, or do you want to start doing that right now? Okay. One big thing, garage door openers. Garage doors. Do any of y'all ever leave them open? No, not on purpose. Well, believe it or not, I was looking at what we call a contact report, where the officers have to go give us any significant information that's happened, and I don't know if it happened in Bravo or was it Charlie, but a gentleman was told that you left your garage door open. It was in the middle of the night, I think, and he's, you know, an officer went over there and said, I just want to let you know you left the garage door open. He goes, it's okay. I want it open, and if it's ever open again, be sure to let all the other officers know that I want my garage door open. And if anything's taken out of it, it's my deal. Okay, so the officers are doing what they think, oh, this person's gonna be so excited, you know, I told him. No, they don't want that. So close your garage door openers, or close your garage door all the time. Not only can they get in there so quickly, they also, a lot of us, not including me, we don't lock our doors that lead to the inside of the house. So not only do they have access to your garage, they have access to your home. Whether you're sleeping or you're not, they got full access to your entire home. If you have a lock on it, lock it. Front doors, back doors, if you have any sliding doors, if you have any sheds in the back, if you have anything. Also, if you have a gate that goes to your backyard, put a padlock on it. Can they cut the padlock? Yes. But you just want to make it a little bit more difficult. That's what I always say. Always make it difficult, harden the target. If they see yours has a padlock on it and your neighbor's doesn't have a padlock on it, they'll probably go to your neighbor's house. But the whole thing is you want to keep everything secure. That's what we want to do. We want everybody to lock it so they go, you know what, this neighborhood is just secure. I'm just gonna go to the south side. So
one of the problems with our neighborhoods, Arlene, is that it has dual access for a lot of us, not only by the street, but by the water behind our home.
Okay.
And it's hard to secure that area,
Right.
that back deck area.
And my understanding.
No fence, it's just open.
Right, because are you talking about the ones that are on the water?
On the
Yeah.
canals, yeah.
On the canals. I know, because I know it's your backyard and you feel like this is my area, but they're allowed to go in and out. There's nothing that says that the boats, the canoes and things like that can't go there. So we have to lock up everything as much as we can. I mean, I know it's an inconvenience. I know there's kayaks that we leave in the back. I know that there's, you know, ice chests and things like that. We just have to lock everything as much as we possibly can to secure our items.
There's technology also that can maybe help you. You know, I don't know if you ever heard about those doorbells that you press.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it activates it, and then the app sends it to your smartphone. Well, they have spotlights that do the same thing. On the back porch, you put up one of those spotlights, and it's Wi-Fi, so it's not like rewiring your whole house. I'm just speaking out of experience that I haven't bought one yet, but I want to. Okay? But,
I know 3 of them that are motion activated that go on, it's solar.
It's
But
like one step up from that now.
They're not connected to my.
Yeah, it has Wi-Fi next to your computer, and then the camera's activated at the same time as the light. They also have it with night vision too.
Mhm.
And then it sends it to your app, and you can talk.
You can talk to them.
Hey, what are you doing in my
Scare
backyard?
'em. You'll scare 'em.
And you know, that's another option. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not gonna tell you a brand or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can Google it and go on the internet. And I'm just speaking highly of it because I got excited because I saw about it, and she turned on some information, paperwork to it. So I'm gonna get me one here pretty soon.
And
But,
I mean, that's even
the
if you
doorbell
don't
at least.
live on the canals, if you're just in your backyard, and even if it motions it detects your phone, you know, you look at it and you see somebody on there.
It's very reliable from what I
Yes,
understand, and
it
relatively
does.
cheap.
And it's-
What are those
it's-
running?
$200 for each kind of device. Give a little bit, take a little bit. It kind of depends on what you're doing. And like the light spotlight, I think is a little bit more, maybe around 250 range. But the doorbell itself is like 200. And then you can get them off the internet, or I think like local hardware stores here, you know, Lowe's or any of those will carry them. You know, so you just have to look around.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna get me one of those too. And the message here is not that we want you to live in a fortress. Okay, I don't want you to, but you don't live in Mayberry, and you have to protect yourself and your belongings. I mean, that's just your civic responsibility. Okay. And if you don't, then you're also harming your neighbors because you're bringing up a target-rich environment, which now they're going to live in because they live next door to you. Does that make sense? So we're asking you to do your civic duty. Try to be as much fortified as you want, that you feel good with, and can live with, and can afford, and you know, can deal with. Because obviously it's a hassle, or it could be. But the more the better, and keep the crooks going away from your area. We're never going to do away with them. They're never going to go away. you know, even if they go to jail, they come back. But, you make their job harder, you'll be better off and we'll be better off. Yes, sir?
Is there any way y'all could sit down? Because I know how it is to have to stand like in one place for this long a time. There's all the little sport chairs right here, there's an extra one over there.
Yeah, we
What
do.
about just like when you say something, you can stand up? No, you don't want to sit down?
I'm good, I'm good.
You don't indulge us like that? Okay, so there was something over the weekend. It was a case in, where was it, Montana? The guy convicted of murder and went to jail because they left the garage door open and there was something called garage hopping. Did you know about this case? It was on the TV over the
I never heard
weekend.
the term.
So yeah, so anyway, there was a 17-year-old exchange student who was living with a family in this nice neighborhood, and they had double car garages and stuff, and so they were burglarized, and they had their credit cards out of the car and taken and stuff, you know, the mother's purse. So they then started leaving their garage door open, and they were apparently waiting with a shotgun and stuff. Yeah, and so the wife had even mentioned on recording to one of the officers who was at the scene because the husband shot the 17-year-old kid in his garage and killed him, and he was in there illegally, and the wife had said that she had just told her husband it's showtime. So that was something they used in court. Now we've got somebody on the island who is apparently in trouble because he didn't shoot the burglar, but did something to the burglar that now he's got some lawyers he's got to hire. He was writing about it on maybe even more than the Island Moon. We communicate on Nextdoor around here. And so he was writing about his troubles and, you know, please pray for him and everything because he's spending a lot of money. He's having to mortgage his house because apparently he did something to this burglar who was stealing out of his garage.
That's always possible. I mean, we have the criminal justice system and the civil justice system.
Yeah.
And then they have individual rights just like you or I, as a defender, as a criminal. And sometimes I've heard of it also in seen where they sue back the victim they originally victimized. Now they're suing them. You know,
Yeah.
so that's not unheard of. That's kind of maybe some of what you're referring to.
Yeah.
But you know, this goes a long way. Okay, I don't know all the circumstances specific what you're talking about, but within our own community, you have to be smart and kind of what you're doing now in educating yourself and getting more information. That's one of the first steps.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, if you got something specific about a neighbor living out here or something that you want to talk to me more about one-on-one right after the meeting, by all means, I'll stick around and talk to you.
Yeah, I would say to the topic of using a gun, we had our house robbed last year, or maybe it was early this year, I don't know, it's all blending together, it's been a busy time. One way or another, they broke into our car, grabbed the garage door opener, opened the garage door. I had just installed a new garage door that has an app on it, and it notified me. So I got up out of bed, and I frankly had just turned the app on, so I thought that the garage door opener had a problem. The people left out the front, and I thought the garage door had gone bad. I closed the garage door, went to bed, and didn't realize until the morning that they stole a bunch of stuff out of my wife's car, and were on their way into my house. The door to the house had been opened, you know, the whole 9 yards.
You know what scared them away then? What scared them away then?
I got out of bed and turned on the light.
Oh, okay.
And the garage door opened.
Because you were alerted from the app thing. That's good.
Yeah, we can have you guys.
It can happen anywhere and everywhere, unfortunately. You know, and I don't want anybody to be
to
scared.
those that would take a gun and deal with this, which I certainly would, had I realized what was happening, I probably would have. I didn't find out until days later that they were operating as a team. Somebody had caught them on their camera, and there was two of them that were breaking into the cars, grabbing the garage doors, going into the house. And the third one was standing out front with a pistol, waiting for the homeowner. So think about, you know, you can get hurt. Now, I'll take my chances. If somebody breaks into my house, I'm going to do what I have to protect my family. That I would rather go down fighting, but you know, this is not necessarily a straightforward situation. We've since installed cameras, and having them there, just having the little red lights, you know, has done some good. I would say that that's, you know, a positive step. I didn't pay very much to the people in this room. I paid $150 for a 4-channel DVR. Plus $50 for a 2 terabyte hard drive. I can record about a month, and I can see about 100 feet in the dark with those cameras.
That's good.
That said, I would say to you guys that just because you can see the guys doesn't mean that you guys are gonna be able to do anything about it, and for the most part, you can't. And that's just unfortunate, and, you know, unfortunately, I think that these neighborhoods out here, it's a recreational area, we draw a lot of this kind of an element, and there's got to be more patrolling. There just has to. I mean,
Certainly. Yes, ma'am.
A year or so ago, there was a program I thought you had called Camera Pick that allowed residents to register their personal cameras with you so that you would have an idea of where the cameras were. So if there was a crime committed in a certain area, then you could go back to those residents and contact them. Is that still available?
That I don't know. Do you know?
My understanding is that that really fizzled out. It did not, it wasn't.
Didn't take off with any participation? It's handled through our investigations division. They're the ones that were, I guess, setting it up or instrumental with it.
Could
but-
that be looked at again?
Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be looked over again, and I know that there's, we also have a website, it's Crime Stoppers, not Crime Stoppers, that's the wrong one. The one you just, Command Central.
Command Central and crime reports?
Crimereports.com, so many times. Crimereports.com, and they have we haven't signed up for it, but that's also an option to be able to register your cameras on there, but we have to subscribe to it. So that's something that we're gonna definitely look back into. So
As more people are getting cameras,
Yes,
that can
no, I
only assist
agree.
you, and if it was all recorded and logged in, that people would participate, maybe we could take that on as an island project.
As well, I know that, you know, the gentleman mentioned that, you know, they had gotten into the garage and then they were able to take your credit card and so forth. A lot of these things, and the cameras are really good options. You know, we've got some deals that are not that much of an investment, but in the long run, I'm sure it'll pay off for itself. Some of the information that I have, though, is very simple, okay? I did take some, we have a crime analyst within our auto theft department, and so she pulled some information, on the island as far as what kind of crimes we have going on. And within 30 days, 30 days, August the 1st to September the 30th, we had a total of 39 burglary to vehicles. Out of those 39 burglary to vehicles, 32 were unlocked. Okay? So, pretty much this is the message.
How many had guns under the seat?
Correct, yes, that's another thing that we're fighting with, or that we're dealing with actually. So what we're seeing here, and it's not just in the island, it's all across our city, okay? And I know that we get busy, we have kids, we're trying to get to work, we're trying to get home, but it's a very simple deterrent. We have to lock our vehicles, okay? More so, even more importantly, is we cannot leave anything in our cars. Ladies, and I know, I love to carry the 20-pound bag, but, you know, a lot of times and I do it myself, you know, you go shopping, you've got your larger handbag, and you're like, but I'm just gonna run into H-E-B. I'm gonna stick it in your seat. Well, somebody is always watching. As you said, you know, they were working in a team, and that happens throughout our city. You know, we've got our crime analysts, like I said, that picks up these trends. All the thefts that are going on with the road fields, they're all organized. They're working in teams of 4, they're working in teams of 2. It's the same guys. And so, you know, it's very important that we take this, as simple as it is, and you lock your car, don't leave anything inside, and we're talking about any kind of personal information. Auto theft is a gateway crime. So they're breaking into your car, they're rummaging through the vehicle because they're looking for copies of titles, insurance cards, checks, credit cards, mail, okay? What they do with this information is that we've got other guys that are stealing the vehicles.
Don't you have to keep your title in your car?
No,
A
sir.
copy, every time a copy?
No. Registration.
And that's on the website.
No, sir.
Don't
And
keep
you
your
know, and I
title
know
in the
that we
car.
grew up, cause I as well was like, you need to keep that registration in the car to prove that it's yours. And no, we don't, and I'm gonna, Aaron, you wanna step in, you don't have to carry, your registration on your vehicle. Insurance cards, the same thing. Yes, you do have to have it on your person as far as a copy, but you don't wanna leave it inside the car, okay? That's got a VIN number, that's got your home address, and so that's just gonna give them more information. Your garage door opener, that's another thing, you do not wanna leave that in there. Because it's not something that we used to be able to say, well, you know what, they have that, they may break into your home. No, they're going to. Okay, a lot of times when these burglaries to vehicles occur, there's a weapon left in the vehicle. That weapon, before that person even wakes up and realizes that it's gone, it's already been used in a robbery. It's not even the system is stolen, because guess what? The victim doesn't even know it's gone. Okay, so we have a lot of technology, but what we're trying to put out there is that there's very simple things that we can do that take no money. And that's lock your vehicle, don't leave anything inside your car. Mail, the same thing. We've got guys that go through mail, they're able to, there's a lot of title fraud going on as well. Right now with all these hurricanes that we've had in our area, guess what? I think second week out of the hurricane, there was 500,000 vehicles that had already been in the floods that were put out into the auctions. So it's all connected. Like I said, it's a gateway crime, and so it's just simple things that we can do in order to try to safeguard ourselves. Because it takes time. Yes, sir.
On the insurance certificates, is it acceptable to take a picture of your certificate in your phone? Is that acceptable to a police officer before stop?
Yes.
Yeah, and in fact, I was just talking to some gentlemen right before this. The legislature now requires us to, as peace officers, to verify by the website on our computers or through our dispatcher on the radio, whether you have insurance coverage via the database. The insurances companies are all required to submit, update their database statewide. Now we're required to check it and also denote it on the citation. Texas Sure verifies what we have to write on there. So it's like a safety net. But yes, you are still required to have it with you on your person. They're recommending that you maybe take a picture of it, or you can even pull it up on a smartphone, go to your website. The insurance company usually has it, and they can show, everything you need right then and there, whether you have it or not. But you're required to show that. But as a safety net, we're also required to verify and check and get it to you. And then again, just like it's always been, if you can't prove it right then and there, you may get a citation based upon that information or circumstances, but then you show later in court that I did have it at that time, it's dismissed.
Okay.
Okay? That makes
Thank you.
sense.
A lot of the other, go ahead.
Sorry. Like some of the weapons that are stolen out of vehicles, I can't tell you how many times I've stopped somebody that probably doesn't need to have this gun, and you run the serial number and it doesn't come back stolen or to anything. Record your serial numbers. If maybe your gun, take a picture of the serial number or model or something, just keep it on your phone or write it down somewhere safe in your house. If a special item you have doesn't have a serial number, our National Crime Information Center, NCIC, you can enter an owner applied number, and it's a specific number you can make up yourself, like 867-5309, and Tommy Two-Tone has missed his radio that he had forever, and if somebody pawns that, our pawn shop detail will enter that serial number, and we can see who pawned that. So that's another way that we can help you get your stuff back. Serial numbers are very important to us. I'll just do a brief story of going back on the garage doors and being good neighbors. When I worked over here, a curious neighbor was walking her dog and noticed somebody at her neighbor's house that she never met the neighbors before, but she knew this guy that was in their garage did not live there. She called us and said, hey, I don't know if this guy's stealing something, but he looks a little strange over here. I don't think he belongs in this garage. We went over there, we found him about a block around, and he had a radio in his hand, he had a drill, and that's kind of odd walking down the road with those items in there. We go knock on the door, nobody's there. But the specific radio that they had left a dust mark on their counter right there, and that's how we figured out where it came from. So while we were there investigating it, the owner pulls up and is like, well, I've never met my neighbor over here, but I sure appreciate her looking out for me. And it ends up the guy rode an RTA bus over here just to steal stuff. He went and found an open garage and was gonna ride the bus back to where he came from to go pawn the items. So being a good neighbor, being observant, closing garage doors will help a lot. You guys are so important to us because we can't be everywhere at once. Good witnesses, I can't tell you how many times I've caught bad guys doing bad stuff because of good witnesses. So you are very helpful, and no matter how small something may be that was stolen, call us so we can put the resources out here. Hey, there's thefts in the area. We need to commit more resources out here and pay more attention to this area because use ComStat, computer statistics, to show where we need our people at, where our crime's at. Just
How long after a crime can you file a report?
however long you want. You don't even have to really call us anymore. There's, I think, Hop Logic. You can go online and do the report yourself. You don't even have to speak to one. Or maybe if you're at work, you're not at home, you can call our telephone reporting unit. If, hey, I'm not at home right now, but I just noticed I had something missing, you can call us that way. That's our
And the
non-emergency number.
The non-emergency number, there's magnets in the back. I don't know if you picked up the little magnet, but it does have our non-emergency number on that. That number is to make, police reports. You can also, if you see suspicious activity, crimes that are not in progress, you can always call that number. Save it in your phone is what we would like everybody to do, save it on your phone. And if you don't know whether, oh my gosh, this is emergency, just call 911 if you're really not sure. But if you wake up one morning, your car's broken into, you wanna get a report out, you call that non-emergency number. And as far as, yes, report 886-4600, that one too. So you can also, online, that's what it was. Online at cctexas.com/police.
On the magnet?
No.
That may not.
Mhm.
Can you say it again?
Yes, cctexas.com/police.
Piggybacking off of what Aaron said, I mean, you can report it whenever you want, the sooner the better, okay? It helps us then catch maybe the criminal before he commits more crime. Also, it helps us, if we got your property back, to get back to you sooner. We only hold unidentified, property for so long before we go to an auction and it gets sold off. After that, you won't get it back. Also, for the crime itself, there's statute of limitations as far as the conviction and the subject having to face consequences. So if it was to go beyond that, again, then, you can report it, but it's not gonna be as effective or mean as much. So the main message would be reported as soon as possible, the sooner the better. With more information, the more the better.
Also going off what Arlene was saying about, calling and, you are the most important, point of contact. You're the first person they're gonna make contact with, or is going to make contact. You wake up and you look outside and there's a guy walking down the street checking the car doors, all right? You calling dispatch and giving a description, that's a way to become more effective, as a citizen. You wanna make sure and give descriptions, and even if it's a dark, any kind of direction of travel, or he's on foot, he's on a bicycle. If it's during the day, you're gonna give a description to them. Start from the top to the bottom. He's wearing a hat, he's wearing a blue shirt, he's got facial hair. That will help the operator on the other line immensely, and then that information goes to our officers. Direction of travel is really important as well, because that information goes out, and all those guys that are in that area, that'll give them a chance to be able to catch up to this person who's maybe just walking down the street, and maybe he is up to no good. Okay, all that is really important. Another tip that we have is, let's say that you walk out and your vehicle is stolen. It's not there. Of course, you're in a panic and you're going to call 911 because your vehicle is gone. In order for that vehicle to be entered into our system as a stolen vehicle, we need a VIN number or a license plate. Now, again, nobody has that memorized. Some do, but at a point of panic that your vehicle is gone, you need that information. The quicker we can recover the vehicle. All right, because what happens is when that dispatcher puts out that information to all the officers in the area, everybody gets that information. So it'll make your recovery, it'll just, we'll be able to recover your vehicle a lot quicker. Okay, I've got some cards up front, and I wanna make sure that everybody gets these. And as far as what we were saying, that these are cards, it's got your VIN number, it's got your license plate, it's got the color of the vehicle, make and model. It also has an area for distinctive characteristics, broken windshield, cracked windshield, bumper sticker on the left side, anything that's gonna make it stand out. You wanna carry these in your wallet, okay? Because let's say the vehicle is stolen. Everybody always says, well, the insurance is in the car. I don't know what the license plate is. Well, you have it on your person, okay? And that will help you to hopefully, you'll be able to recover that vehicle a lot quicker.
There's a tool real fast to piggyback off of that. That's my license plate. I take a picture of it, have it in my phone. So use technology to your advantage. It's like not just a good crime prevention tactic, but I mean lessons learned from like our neighborhood 4-day stuff and all the other areas that got hit and devastated by the hurricane. Insurance The more information you got, if you have pictures of everything that you bought valuable and the serial number, you take a picture and zoom into the serial number, save it to a hard drive. When you leave town, that hard drive goes with you, you know, or you email it to a family member across the state, and they have all that information saved for you. So then you have a historical way to get back and get your information and submit it. And that helps you a lot faster with insurance companies. So, you know, it helps you in crime, getting it back or protecting it, helps you on making a loss, getting it back from the insurance company. You just,
I was just asking, Captain, how patient are the officers? If I've got my registration in my phone with a photograph and the insurance and all that, are the officers fairly patient when they stop you for a traffic violation to be pulling all this up on your phone, or they get frustrated with you?
well, I mean, we're only human. You have good officers, you have bad officers.
Some
Okay?
officers are nice.
You have some that are really friendly and outstanding, but you know, you have some that may not be, you know, who knows? But the catch-all would be you get a ticket and then you get your day in court, okay? So you'd be able to. But I mean, if he's getting frustrated with you, maybe my recommendation would just say, okay, sir, I apologize, I mean citation.
Yeah, I'm not exactly high-tech, and it takes me a while.
Well, I understand, yeah, no problem.
Let me,
Me neither, I'm not tech
a
savvy.
recommendation to you. Go into your address book, your contact for yourself, and save it in your notes field. That way it's always in the same place.
Good idea, sir.
Or
Good
if
idea.
you prefer not to have it in that exact location, so it's identifying to you, bury it in somebody else's, but where it's in the same
That's still
place
a
for you
very good
every
idea.
time, yeah.
Thank you.
And a
Nothing.
point of order for you, a cracked windshield in South Texas is not a unique.
Especially if you drive I-37 all the time.
Yes, definitely. Another thing that I want to mention, I've got these up at the front as well, and Aaron was saying about the pawning of items and so forth. This is our Operation ID booklet. What this has is it's got an item number, it's got a brand name, model number, serial number, cost. Okay. What we want this is to be completed before that there's a burglary to your vehicle, to your car. This is also not that we want everyone to get in the habit of doing serial numbers, anything of value, you know, taking the picture, and then putting this with all your valuable documentation. And as well on the back, it does have your vehicles as well, year, make, model, color, and it's got all that information on there. Now, we have a pawn shop detail department within our criminal investigation divisions. So if, let's say that item is stolen, and we've got all the information, we've got all the documentation, serial number, so forth, and then they go and they pawn it, then we will be able to see that that item, you know, belongs to you. And it'll help us in maybe recovering some of your property a lot quicker. Okay, we've got these up at the front as well.
One thing that a lot of people don't know, which I throw out to the crowd, on your garage door opener that's on the wall on your door, the big thing on top open and closes your door. The one on the left turns the light on. The little one on the right blocks all remotes to open your garage door.
Yeah, I just read that not too long ago too.
And that, if there's somebody in the neighborhood who's running a scanner, because there aren't that many garage door codes, if they're running a scanner, they can't get in. Or if they've stolen your remote, it's useless. So just before you go to bed at night, hit the lower right.
My lower right is a light.
Yeah, they're in different places,
They're different
different
ones.
models.
It's one of those little buttons.
Okay.
The one that says lock, yeah.
Do you have any other suggestions? A lot of us park our vehicles in our driveways, can't get all of our vehicles in the garage, maybe one. Because we have tools and all those fun things to go play out in the water with. And what I've seen here is a pattern of license plates being stolen off vehicles, batteries being taken out of vehicles. You come out and your truck is dead, and you go to look, the battery, it's just gone.
Or more accurately, the boats, where it's easier to
The
get out.
boats?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you have any suggestions on what we could do to secure the vehicles better? Is there a better way to secure that?
I know that I pulled on the license plate, and there was a total of 3, the licenses that were taken. And I know that Captain Weber and I spoke about this, and there's not, I mean.
You know, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I do have one idea about the license plates.
Oh, good.
That instead of using a regular Phillips or Flathead, don't use those. Yes, it's a little painstaking, it'll take some more money and mostly more time out of your day. But you can get stars, you know what I mean? You get those because it's gonna take a certain tool.
Oh, you're right.
You can get that tool to do it. And that would be a less of a deterrent.
We also talked, maybe you could even possibly glue it, you know, because
Mhm.
you only change those out every 5 to 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes people go even longer than that, but, I think the standard is when it's not readable at night, you know, lost its reflectiveness, you have to change them out. But you don't change it very often, so you might as well make it hard, and you can always drill it out when it comes around that time to take it off, so.
Anything, they're taking it, this is just my experience, they're taking it because they wanna take, I'm gonna use this for example, the front license plate, cause I know, cause I live in your community too. They recently on the Nextdoor app, I read on San Felipe, so they got one on San Felipe, like 15 blank, 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 I know what the address is, but it's not gonna say it. So they took one, and I wanna talk to the neighbor because I don't know, and this is the thing, I don't know if he made a report yet, okay? Cause I wanna know that because if we have a stolen vehicle, they're gonna take the same make and model, let's just use, Chevy 1997, okay? 97 Chevy, they're common. So you take that plate, the front plate, and then on a stolen vehicle, they'll take off the stolen tags, ditch them, whatever they wanna do, they'll probably just leave them in the back of the bed, to be honest with you. Then they'll put on the good, non-stolen reported tag, which is your front tag, because you may not notice it for a couple of days. They'll commit crimes in that stolen vehicle with that stolen license plate and commit several burglary of motor vehicles and or habitations, okay? They'll do a little crime spree. To be honest with you, they'll probably do it for about, I'd give it 12 hours max. Then they're gonna ditch the car somewhere, high visibility, probably Chuck E. Cheese. It's not that uncommon. We're gonna get a random call in the middle of the night at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and that vehicle will be there, an officer will see it, and then they'll run the tag. But if they don't bin it, it goes back to etching and binning and so on and so on, because sometimes the bins are hard to see because we put stuff blocking the bins, or our front dash is sun cracked, whatnot. Most of our cars are not that way, but say they are. It'll be hard to bin that vehicle. That's just another added tool that it takes time for us to bin it, license plate it, and then I check your registration sticker, check that, double check it, and that's about all that's all the checks I can do. And that's how we get a multiple stolen thing. Yes, it will take time, but if you do cop logic, you want us to come out, I will come out and take the report. I don't care if it's 48 hours, I don't care if it's 72 hours, this is me personally. Sooner the better, yes, but I want you to feel open to report everything. And you might think it's petty, it's not petty, I swear it's not. Everything is linked. I ask so many detailed questions, I think you already know how I am now. I wanna know if the left hand glove or the right hand glove. I wanna know if it's a male or female, because you'll never know what I'm gonna find on the next traffic stop. You never know.
Yeah.
I had to, that's enough about stolen license plates. Okay. I made a little list.
Okay.
I had to nicely post a private message. It was a PM, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I had to private message a person because we caught 2 people with several stolen items, well, we believe stolen items that night. We had them ID'd, we had the items, we had their car, we had everything, except I didn't have one victim. That's okay, that's all right. So yes, it took a little added step that some people would have taken and some people wouldn't. I took it upon myself, on my own time, and a little bit of work time, to track down private message people. I found one victim very close to where I live that had an H2S meter for the refineries. And sure enough, I had the H2S meter. Same color, same everything. Because I have a yellow one when I used to work at the refineries, but he had an orange one. And I knew that was unique. And these kids are 16, 17, they don't need it. Where are they gonna be going, confined space rescue? They're not doing that stuff. So that's what some of the issues that we have to do, but that's why I'm signed up, part of your community. I want to be a part of it, and it helps out. But that's why kind of reporting everything. Little things are not little to us. I don't care if you have 28 pennies and 2 nickels. It's something. It is something. Trust me, I'm gonna find that. You actually don't know what I'm gonna find. In fact, I sometimes
Thank you, officer. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Like, let me just go over some notes real quick because these people
That's
have.
38 cents over.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about landscaping lighting. right? Good. I knew somebody wanted to talk about it, okay? Because I want to talk about it. I know those 4 houses you're talking about. I'm not going to say them, but I know them. They're very crafty at what they do, and they live within our community. There's only 4 houses. That's not good, but that's not bad either. I used to work on the south side for a long, long time. Captain Weber knew that. I wanted to change a pace. I really did. It was just go, 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 next call, next call, next call. It was hard to do a thorough investigation, in my opinion, because the calls for service were so high that we had a call load where we had to do and had to maintain. So here, I want to take a little bit of a break. And so it's nice to do these added investigations and go on Nextdoor app and do all that and find it. Anyways, okay, so I had some ideas about the landscaping lighting, okay? I know it's gonna be hard because my issue is this: how am I going to prove that it's your light?
Yeah.
And that it's not this resident's light? And I saw the video. I know who it is. I saw the bicycle person.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yay.
Okay, but now I have to prove it, okay? So I had this random idea, okay? It's not the greatest, but one of my ideas is, what if, I know these lights aren't expensive, but you never know what we're gonna find that's gonna lead to something more. If I can start my way in there, because they won't answer the door for us. They have cameras, their lights are on, they know we're coming. I can walk up down the street, and that one house, everyone runs inside, but that one person will talk to me, but they won't let me in. So, but they know I don't have anything, and they're right, I don't have anything besides just consensual talking. And I can talk all day, but sometimes it's gonna go nowhere. So my idea is this: what if we took, like, say for example, some nail polish, something that you can identify it. Preferably, I would love your address in there, or like what Aaron was talking about, OAP. OAN.
Owner applied number.
Yeah, owner applied number. You can do that, and that ties into my next thing too, marking your kayaks. I have a kayak. I've recovered several kayaks, and several I haven't, because there's no markings on it. My kayak doesn't have a marking on it. I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. You know, it's indoors, but still, kayaks is another one. But if we marked those lights, those landscaping lighting somehow, I'm not saying we have to do bait and switch on this one, but I'm not even saying we'll solve that case. But that was my only idea.
Are you sure your kayak doesn't have a serial number on it?
I swear it doesn't.
I don't mind that.
Great idea.
Well,
But
if
I
it's
bought
got a motor,
mine.
if it's got a motor, you have to register it.
It's not registered, but
No, they
it's
all
got a little
serial
serial
number.
number.
Okay.
Yeah, mine
Alright.
doesn't.
Check under your foot peg.
Most boat trailers do not.
Okay. Well, about it, when did we, probably 15 years ago? Yeah. I don't know, I'll check it, anyways.
Most boat trailers do not have any any kind of numbers on the frame or anything like that
Under
either.
2,000 pounds, yeah, you're right, they don't have to be registered.
Oh, the heavier ones do.
The heavier ones do.
Yeah.
Speaking of kayaks, when you were in, I'm gonna call it the landscape lighting guy's house, you
Yeah.
know who he
I
is.
know.
Did you see all the extra kayaks in his backyard?
No, just because I know he has stuff back there, but I have to be careful because I work nights. I know how these people are, and I didn't want to go that far into it, just because it's fence, that fence particularly is knocked down or may not be knocked down, and I can see that view of it. I could probably go to the gypsy side of it.
Well, just go for a ride in my
Yeah.
boat and you can get a
Yeah.
real good view of it. And we can go by the house on the other side of the canal and
You'll
see the
have
stuff.
people lining up to give you boat
Yes, they
rides.
will.
Bring your fishing pole too.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something like that.
Are you still on mandatory dual response? When you come out here, you have to have two officers?
Depends what kind of call it is. We have prioritized calls.
Okay.
So like a disturbance, say, we'd have to have 2 officers come to it. A report call, it'd just be 1 officer going to it.
I see.
They can always call for another one if it starts leading into something more.
Yeah.
for that. Just a little disclaimer, Nextdoor app, some of y'all may be involved in that and all, like he referred to it. We don't monitor that as an agency or as a police officer. He is, because he's part of the community, he's living here and he's on that app. So we would encourage you to utilize it and be a part of it and share information and crime tips and all that kind of stuff. But then that's just one step. The other step is reporting the crime to us, okay? So just for clarification.
And then I'm almost done. Mail thefts. Mail thefts seem to plague us so much and so much. It leads to identity theft. Any mail, junk mail, you just gotta take it out of the mailbox, or have one of those locking ones. But that's another one. They made a stop on a contact a couple days ago where they got several pieces of articles that belong to other people. And they could have got from cars, and they could have got from mailboxes. But mailbox theft has seemed to slow down, but it may spike up. I don't know. But being aware of mail theft will help out a lot. And then just to add on too, real quick, is, I've spoken to many offenders, and we all have up here, that if you just talk to them, and then most of the time they'll talk, 90% of them will. Casual talk. And some will go in great detail, and they'll tell you, all I do is walk down the street and pull on door handles, pull on door handles, pull on door handles. And they'll find something that's good, 1 or 2 houses. In fact, that's how we got that last one. He said, I pulled on so many door handles, I don't remember all the cars, so he couldn't take us to all the houses, so I couldn't knock on all the doors. I only had to kind of go with what I had through next door and just kind of, I think we're right here, I think we're right here. And then just to end with this, we're gonna try this new thing. It's not a new thing, but we're gonna try doing something different. Is they do it at the mall, auto theft, and some other people do it too, the crime advocacy people when proactive patrolling. It's like a pass or fail yellow report card. It'll say pass or fail, and then I'll usually circle like door unlocked. And then usually if I find the door unlocked, I'm gonna lock it myself or try to wake you up. But regardless, I'm gonna lock the door. Purse left in vehicle, I'll circle vehicle, something like that. We wanna do that just to show you that, one, we're definitely walking, and it's gonna be a foot patrol type thing. We're gonna park at the end of the block and then walk it. We did look into this past week, and out of 40 vehicles, 25 failed.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, yes, a lot of them were work vehicles, a lot of them were AT&Ts, a lot were unlocked, GPS, cell phones, tools of galore. A lot of unlocked doors, a lot, more than I thought I would see. So if I had to run the numbers, yes, I mean, it's always what I think it is always about 1 out of, I'd say about 2 to 3 out of 5 cars, that we're gonna find something. Now, yes, I'm very picky. Now, I don't want you to live in a picky world, but I want to be picky when I work. Now, yes, I can be picky at home too. My wife doesn't like that, but yeah, that's it. So I can talk longer about it. But
Thank you for taking that kind of time in our community.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I brought it along. My ringer.
that's all I have. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? At what point does a peeping Tom's type situation becomes a crime? I've had a situation relayed to me that someone's 2 young teenage girls swim in their own swimming pool, and that an individual leers at them over the fence. An adult male, 50-ish, leers at them. At what point does it become a crime and a chargeable crime, or is it just a dirty old man neighbor that you can't do anything about?
Just from that specifics, I don't know that it would fit under a crime, okay? It's gonna be a gray area, obviously. Should you go ahead and call the police and report it? Definitely. And let them come out and become aware of who that person is. And if it's a beat officer who has ownership, he'll become more aware of what this guy's doing, maybe look into him a little bit further, like a preliminary investigation, see what it leads to. But definitely you should report it. I don't know whether it's gonna fall within a crime and be committed and go through the courts and all that. It kind of varies, okay? But I mean, the court defines curtilage, like the space around your house and within your fence and all. You have a right to privacy for that, obviously. Front yards, not as much. You can walk up, postman can walk up, somebody selling stuff, solicitor, whatever, can walk up. So you wouldn't have that right to privacy as much. But in the backyard, definitely so. And definitely though it's concerning regardless if it's a crime or not, because the other 50-year-old looking at a couple teenage kids, right? You know what I mean? So that's why you want to report it. And then we may not write a crime, but we may send an email to our special investigations division and say, hey, y'all know about this guy or know who he is, just to put him on the radar. Make sense?
One last question, again, a terroristic threat. At what point does the conversation turn into a terroristic threat and not just a a bullying situation or something, you know, what defines a terroristic threat?
I don't think I can regurgitate the offense to you specifically. You can Google it and go online and get it from the Texas Penal Code. But a threat made from one person to another, okay, and where you feel harmed or threatened, then you're in the ballpark.
So if someone told me.
If I tell him, I say, I don't like that guy, man. I want to kick his butt later on or something like that. And you may have overheard her, or she may have heard it and said, hey, you know, whoever that they're talking about, he wants to kick your butt. That doesn't fall into offense of assault.
But if someone says, if you do that, I'm gonna put a 50 caliber round through your house, that's a terroristic threat, right?
I would say so, yeah.
I would say so, thank you. Yeah.
What if somebody pulls out their concealed carry handgun license and holds it in front of somebody's face after they've been inciting and cajoling and saying the most juvenile schoolyard things to this person to try to pick a fight that anybody would normally probably get physical with the person doing that? And then when the person finally says, look, I'm a foot taller than you, I'm 50 pounds heavier than you, and I'm a whole lot stronger, and then the person pulls out their CHL license and holds it in front of your face.
Yeah. From what you described, I don't see it as a crime. Is it morally or immoral? Probably, yeah, probably so. Is it alarming? Probably so. But I don't think the courts, you know, I'm not a judge, I'm not a lawyer, I'm just a police officer, okay? But I don't think it would go, from my experience, that anything would happen through that, you know. Definitely I would be concerned about it, and probably somebody I avoided or got away from, and I wouldn't get into a heated match with them again.
Mm-hmm.
I call this guy to come take care of my issues.
Question from Facebook. The people on Facebook would like to know the name of the officer who lives in our neighborhood.
Janko.
Officer Janko, Janko.
Janko.
But you're not the only one. You're not the only officer.
No, there's several officers that
Yeah.
live there.
We have, Officer O'Sullivan's also out here.
Okay.
Alton's out here.
Yeah.
We all know Alton, yeah.
Okay.
It's part of you.
Thank you.
All right, we kind of got to wrap this part of it up. Like I said, we'll stick around for you if you have some questions, some concerns. We just don't want to go all too long and drag it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle? One thing, Michelle?
May I?
Yeah. Dennis, can you give Michelle?
You have a gift?
Could you want me to come up and talk? Yeah, would you come talk to people about the Facebook page we've set up?
Yeah, we did have a Facebook page called North Padre Watch, but it got archived for some reason. We don't know why. So I set up another Facebook page, and it's called Padre Island Crime Watch. And it is a closed group, so you need to be a resident of the island in order to join. So answer the questions. If I know you personally, I'll add you, or if you can have someone refer yourself to me, I'll add you. Otherwise, answer the questions and I'll add you. But it's not to report crime. That's what you do to the police officers. You tell the police officers about the crime. But after you've already called it in, then if you want to tell your neighbors about some suspicious activity or whatever, post it there. So.
I think you brought up a really good point, and that's a problem that some of our block captains have, where the neighbors call them if something's going wrong. Do not call the block captains. Do not put it on Facebook as a cry for help. You need to call the non-emergency number or call 911.
Right.
I did want to mention that earlier, so I'm glad you brought that up. Okay.
You are so right. People call me all the time. And my first thing is call the police.
Yeah.
My husband's back there, he can tell you. I get calls all the time. Somebody took my car, somebody broke into my Jeep.
One of my
you know.
block captains recently resigned because she says, I can't handle the calls.
Yeah.
So that's now, we're gonna push that out.
Right.
Do not call block
That's
captains.
what I put on the Facebook page was, after you've already reported this to the police, then share your experience with us so we can keep an eye out. That
Tell me
we're not
again what
taking
the
reports.
Facebook thing is.
Facebook page. It
Padre
is
Island.
Padre Island Crime Watch. Can we put that up there? Yeah, she wrote that. Let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing.
So we have some organization to do. Any road is built one road at a time, and I would love to get in contact with you folks. We're going to be asking a lot of questions, and we are going to go through block by block until we get everyone involved and on board and interacting, and please tell me your concerns. I just heard tonight questions about security equipment. What can you use, the ones that you can, there are some just amazing ones you can put on your doorbell that you don't need an electrician, they're not expensive, and I can tell you, I've seen them. The resolution is actually high enough on these things that you can identify somebody, which is really important. So if it is important to you, let's continue the dialogue. And if it is important to you, then we'll address that. We'll get people out here to talk to you about those things so you can decide for yourself what you need to do. Are there any other questions before we let you go and talk with our officers?
You know, the police officers can't really endorse anything, but I'm not. The app is Ring, and yeah, that's the device that's out there. It's pretty good.
It's pretty phenomenal, isn't it?
I'm not using it. I have a full DVR system, but I didn't pay a whole lot of money for it. But the Ring app is pretty nice, and there's a lot of add-ins for it that are pretty nice as well. Like you said, the spotlights, the ability to talk through it and everything, they're pretty good.
There are so many things if we talk to each other and share our ideas. My husband is sort of a jack of all trades and comes up with, he's gonna go hide. He comes up with some really interesting ideas, and he was thinking about the pot thing, and he thought, well, you know those things you use that, I hate them, but people will buy these things and it has a little triangle and it has this corkscrew thing, and you screw it in the ground and then you attach a leash to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They sell those, right? Now, pots often have a good sized hole in the bottom. What if you put that through that hole and kind of just secure that thing down? It would make it harder to do a grab and run, right? Can you see him running up and, oh my God, wait, I'll get another one. I don't want that one. You see what I mean? Let's make it hard for them. And I am convinced that through communicating with each other, alerting each other about, and Captain, I am going to come to you and ask you if we can get some alert to if there's hot spots. So we can get the word out to the block captains, be extra vigilant, okay? Make sure, remind people, lock your doors, lock your garages, yada yada. We can do this. We can send these guys back over the bridge and make them not want to come out here. And that is the goal. So thank you for coming so much. Here we go. There it is. Wait, one more thing.
It's called Ring. Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that. Oops.
I put the link on Island Issues for the
And then I got a doorbell.
Good.
Crime Watch page, so you can just click the link.
And then you can click on, takes a little while for the light to come up.
I know.
Sometimes it don't, but.
You know, it was like a year ago that somebody went really big with Neighborhood Watch, and they paid money for all kinds of brochures and slick stuff, but then they were asking for money to fund it too, and then it all just kind of fell apart within like 4 or 5 months.
I think we need to put our energies on being the eyes and ears and educating each other.
Yeah.
And not doing fundraising things. This is
Yeah,
about
I know,
getting the job done.
I think they were looking for too big of expenditure.
Light on.
Now, if you folks want to get a hold of me, Marta at martasprout.com, there is my phone number. I will talk to you.
Yay.
Okay? All right. Thank you everyone so much for coming. You'll hear from me.
Ring.
Starry, starry night.